the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Maray na banggi sa Indo Gabos, masantos yung salabid si kayo abin, naimbag garabi, maing gabi sa Tibok, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, Apil, ang Sawa, Masa Al-Khair, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ito po ang inyong Republika, ako si Eric Espina. Hindi pa po natatapos ang ating pagbabasa at ang ating pagnamnam sa mga kaganapan noong Mayo 13. Inaalam pa natin at kailangan pa nating malaman kung ano po ang mga kaganapan na dumaan sa mismong harap natin sapagkat ang demokrasya po ay hindi natin maaaring isaalang-alang. Kaya't sa gabing ito ay may inanyayahan po tayong mga tatlong mga panauhin na siyang kasama nating hihimay sa mga itong mga ilang linggong nangyari, lalo't ang COMELEC ay sentro po sa usaping ito. Kaya sa gabing ito ay unang-una sa lahat, naanyayahan po natin sa aking bandang kaliwa ang tagalente na si Attorney Kenji Aman. Siya po ang National Secretariat Head. Marami po siya sasabihin mamaya. Pinapagitna po si Rick Penson, naging kandidato pagka-senador. At kahuli-hulihan ay si Ginoong Arwin Serrano, Coordinator PPCRV Makati Special Operations. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Welcome po sa programa natin.
Magandang gabi.
Welcome, Eric. Okay. Lente, maraming mabigat ang press release na inilabas ninyo.
Opo.
Okay, para lang dun sa mga hindi nakadinig.
Opo.
Those who were not able to listen to what you said. This had dire and deep consequences.
Yes, we understand that, no?
Yeah.
Last Friday, we issued a press release in our press conference that as from our assessment, we believe that there was no genuine election, basing it from the criteria, 4 criteria of the international standards.
Yes.
So what are the criteria? It's transparency, accountability, inclusiveness, and ability to inspire public confidence. If you may allow me, I would like to expound or elaborate further per criteria. When you say inclusiveness, basically it's allowing every qualified voter to vote and at the same time preventing disqualified voters to vote. So, as we have seen during the past election, I mean the May 13 election, there were so many cases of disenfranchisement. Okay? There were so many cases proceeding from one, the confusion generated by the voters list, wherein the master voters list outside would have a voter's name, and then but however the voters list held by the BA would not have that name, or vice versa. So there was confusion.
Okay.
Another would be the inaccessibility of some polling areas to the vulnerable sectors.
Okay.
For example, it was provided in the general instruction that there must be express lanes, but apparently not all precincts did have one or set up one. It was also provided in the general instruction that precincts with PWD voters should be located at the ground floor of every voting center. But as we have observed, there were lots of precincts wherein PWD were made to go upstairs. Okay. Now, we tried to ask them why this is so, and then there are some BEIs who refuse to give assistance to the PWD. So definitely, with the inclusiveness criteria, there were some glitches.
That were left out, in short. There were those who were left out because
There were those that
Okay.
were left out. And the flying voters issue, that's another.
you still had. Are we saying that we still had flying voters in this
Yes,
election?
we did. There were lots of cases.
How about dead voters?
That I haven't not received any reports. I mean, significant
When you talk
reports.
about flying voters,
Those have already voted. I mean, those voters have voted more than once. There were reports called to us saying that, wait, I wasn't able to vote because when I went to the precinct,
somebody voted.
somebody
for you.
voted for me already.
How about those that were paid not to vote? Were you aware of this?
Yes, we are. There were
What was the extent of? Would you happen to know what was this percentages?
well, the general victims of these kind of acts would be indigenous people. That's why I was saying that
Okay.
the vulnerable sectors are basically the more victimized people. So
Are we investigating the fact that there was, brisk business in terms of, I don't know which politicians buying indelible inks?
Yeah, but if I may add, no, we are going to Mindoro next week
Okay.
to investigate. There was a report that during election day, before election begins, the Nangyans, the tribesmen going down the mountain to vote, were intercepted at the foot of the mountains, and then they were detained. They were illegally detained. They were arrested and were detained until voting closed already.
Finally, transparency.
Transparency, basically, I don't need to explain what transparency is.
Yes,
no,
but from the point of view of Lente,
there was no transparency
because
first the source code, although it was released, it was released
3 days before,
two
two
to
days?
3 days before, which effectively
violating the law.
Yeah,
Yes.
effectively it wasn't released at all because, as we all know, source code review would take months.
Yes.
Okay, and then there's the issue on transparency server
Yes.
being cut off,
Ah.
so that those things effectively shut down the transparency safeguards instituted by law for us, for our benefit as stakeholders. And then we have the accountability. Accountability is making sure that there are effective and timely remedies for every violation committed, and it is the ability to make violators pay for what they did. Now, as we have said, there was no effective remedy at all for the voters list, for instance. Those who were left clueless on how they're going to vote. There was no immediate remedy. They don't know whether they should proceed to the election officer or what procedure are they supposed to do. Now, the lack of familiarity of the BI also left us with no remedy on whenever there is a PCOS breakdown. So those things.
So what Lente is saying is there was a failure of elections or there was no elections?
No, we're not saying there was a failure of election. We had an election. But
Yes.
what we're saying is that whether or not, but to say it is a genuine election is a different thing.
Okay.
Now, whether or not that election that we had is reflective of the true will of the people,
It's a big question mark.
is a big question mark for us because of this, the absence or the presence of the certain things we have. I have just
It therefore
cited.
follows that those that were proclaimed also have a big question mark over their heads.
Well, maybe, but we wouldn't really know. We wouldn't really
Okay.
know if they were really the winners. But what I'm saying is the process. We're more concerned with the process.
I'll let you chew first on a question. I'll leave you with a question. I'll go to senatorial candidate Pengson. You have a representative in COMELEC, and in fact, I'd like to say that he was included as a commissioner in COMELEC precisely because he represents Lente, and he has a very good advocacies.
Yes.
And I would presume that these advocacies was taken into consideration in the deliberations of the commission.
Yes.
I'd like to find out what happened to those recommendations. But you on that, I'd like to think that you still continue the communication. Rick Penson or Mr. Penson, your own views.
Well, first, I want to make it clear. I have no illusion of winning.
Yes.
Right now, I have seen the results, but I question the two major items that are included in the
Yes.
Constitution. That it should be a secret balloting,
Yes.
but it should be public counting. I also question the arrangement and ranking from day one of the certificate of canvass. There was no change from day one of the top and the bottom. There were some changes once for about 30 minutes of the bottom where they gave Gordon a chance to be number 12, but for half an hour. And it is just mathematically and statistically improbable especially in a country like ours where COCs are coming from different provinces, and and there's no change whatsoever. My only experience is that I do not believe that the votes that were counted for us, considering the effort we undertook, the system of campaigning we did, and the victorious five party list supporters we had, and the mere fact that the anti-dynasty issue became the forefront main issue of this campaign, and then to set for the major media to be able to distance and disassociate this from me was just so phenomenal that I think there was really a magical effort by COMELEC for the outcome of this election.
You were supported by 5 party lists.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they all made it.
And they endorsed you publicly?
Yes. In fact, they're asking me where are our votes.
And these are supposed to be sectoral and more or less
Yes,
captured votes, more or less, for their group, no?
Yes, put it this way. Our media people said that based on the 20.5 million pesos we spent on radio and TV advertising, that would have equated to 2.5 million votes. The party list groups that we supported and supported us, or supported me, gathered a total of 1.8 million votes. We had endorsements from major personalities that should have received also some additions to our votes. For us to land with 1 million or so million votes just does not compute. Although if we include the ones that were supposed to be for us, it would still not make us to the top 12. But as far as we're concerned, that was gravy to this campaign because we were able to deliver the message. But it was successful. In some local areas, political dynasties were removed.
Yes.
But on the national front, because of some I believe, manipulation by quarters in government, the elections, we will never really know who won. So it's very difficult for my part. I mean, I would like to really congratulate the winners of this senatorial race, but I cannot. I don't even know who won, how many votes they got, and if they deserve to be congratulated yet.
Are you wondering about the process? Are you saying that the high votes of the winners cannot be explained, and in your case, you cannot explain why you only got so much votes? Is that what you're saying?
Well, considering the high votes of the winners and considering the low votes of all the independents, statistically, everybody knew that this was one election where independents could make a go of winning. In fact, I think there's an independent that won in the top 3, or claims to be independent but endorsed by a major group. But for the sequence or the order of ranking to be one and the same, it's like following a template wherein you just distribute the votes as you go along, as you get the canvas. The COCs from Jolo, the COCs from Zamboanga, COCs from Nueva Vizcaya, the COCs from Abra never changed. It was 59%, 30-something percent, and 10% for the independents, all across the country, which is improbable, which is statistically impossible.
And what would you attribute that, more or less?
Well, I'm sure there was some linear manipulation in the system of reporting.
You've heard both gentlemen.
Yes.
Representing PPCRB, you're the right arm of the COMELEC.
Citizens arm.
Citizens arm. What's your take?